Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to the OBM Opportunity Live Show by Prowess Project. So excited to see all of you today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Do I have a treat for you all? So, as always, before we get started, I want to see some comments. I want to see some interaction. This is the best way that we really get the juices flowing and make the most of our time together. So the question is, when I say the word impact, what's the first word that comes to mind? Put it in the chat. When I say impact, what is the first word that comes to mind? When I was doing this and thinking about this, the first word that came to me was me. And I was like, yes, Ashley. Yes, yes. Progress. Okay. Meteor. Ooh, these are fantastic. Jennifer and Valerie, loving, loving, loving. So that's really what we're talking about today is making impact. And that is a huge, huge thing for OBMs. Like you are the people in the business that make the progress, that makes the impact, that makes shit happen, right? And on top of that, I am so incredibly grateful to have this wonderful, wonderful guest on the show today. And oh gosh, I got so excited I didn't even introduce myself. Y'all probably know me by now, but Ashley Connell, CEO and founder of Prowess Project, where we vet and train OBMs and match them with CEOs. And the reason why I'm so thrilled for this guest today is because she helps businesses in the social impact space. And what do 99% of all of you OBMs say to me? Well, Ashley, if I am doing a career pivot, if I am returning to work, if I am not spending time with friends, family, hobby, what have you, I want to be working with a business that's really moving the needle. And that is why I am so excited to introduce Dr. Virginia Lacayo, fearless female advocate, mindset coach, and like I said, really focuses on social impact worldwide. And with that, bringing up Dr. Virginia. Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, Ashley. So excited. I love your energy. Thank you for having me.
Thank you on my third cup of coffee. So let's go.
Right.
All right. So, Virginia, we gave a little bit of like the bullet points of the top things that you have been up to, but can you give us the quick and dirty of how you got to be where you are now, really as a CEO of Massive?
Yeah. Okay. Well, as you said, I'm the CEO and co-founder of Massive Systemic Change, which is a social company that focus on, in summary, just we coach history shapers. That's what we do. We equip them with everything they need inside to change history, to move the needle, to make a real impact. We believe that my partner and I, Justin Foster and I, we believe that we cannot keep doing good things within the system because that doesn't change anything. And most of us as entrepreneurs, we want to do something good. We're raising our level of consciousness and we want to do something good, but doing something good within the system. And I'm including here the traditional inclusive and diversity programs and the traditional giving to charity and the traditional programs to create a better culture within. The traditional approach, even if they're well intended, are not really changing the system. So for my whole life, and I'm going to tell a little bit about that, but my whole life I've been working with people and helping, leading, coaching, consulting, advising organizations and groups and people that have no power on how to fight the system for their rights. And now with Massive, I'm keep doing that. I'm still working with nonprofit organizations and grassroots and social movement, especially in Latin America, but also here in the United States and Africa. And so I'm keeping that because that's in my core. That's part for principle. I do that. But now I want also to focus on people that have power meaning
Mm.
entrepreneurs that have, I'm going to talk later about the privilege of entrepreneurs and business owners. That is something that the public sector and the nonprofit sector don't have. So I want to work with people that have the power, the resource, the influence to make a real difference and equip them not to fight for people's right, but to fight the system and change it altogether. So that's my personal mission right now, and it's our organizational mission right now. And so for that, we have a program, at least several step program that we guide entrepreneurs and CEOs and funders to to answer that calling. We believe that
Wow.
we were not put in this earth and in this life to keep things as they are. We all of us were here because we're here to change things, to make things better. But not everybody feels equipped or feels brave enough to answer to that calling. And sometimes you have the bravery, but you don't know where, you have the courage, but you don't know where to start. So we guide them through all that. And you asked me how I got here, and that's it's a long story, and like a cat, like 9 life. I'm on probably the 7th life right now. So I started as an activist when I was a teenager, really, and I was feminist. I was in this youth movement and the women's movement since I was there. I work for nonprofit organization, and one of the nonprofit organizations I work for, the biggest one, we created a communication strategy for social change campaign that was massive. I mean, we had a television show, the first social soap opera produced in Central America, that now is an award winner product, and it has also 7 life. I mean, it's still going around. And with that, we have like alliances with other organizations. We have like a huge networking of partners. We had, printed radio shows. I mean, it was really a big thing. And that was the beginning for me, because I have the consciousness, I have the awareness, I have the values and the principles, and I understood oppression and discrimination and all those forms of violence. But I didn't know how you go about to change society. I mean, one
Yeah.
thing is to change yourself, and we now,
Right.
especially in the United States, there is an increasing tendency of people to become more sensitized and aware of the importance of mindfulness, for instance, and
Hmm.
become aware of yourself and work on your thoughts and be more, inclusive and all that. So I can see a lot of CEOs and entrepreneurs and founders working on themselves to raise their level of consciousness. But
Hmm.
that is not enough. If you work on yourself, you can meditate 4 hours a day. If that level of awareness and consciousness doesn't translate into specific actions to change the system around you, you're not doing much. You're in your cave trying to feel better, but that's very indulgent, to be honest. So I believe that with each level of consciousness, that the rise of your consciousness, it comes with somehow an itch of challenging the power dynamics around you. So
Oh.
the more higher your level of consciousness, let's say we start with the me, and
Hmm.
I'm more aware and more conscious, and I know that my thoughts are not who I am really. I'm not my thoughts. I'm not my feelings, and become more aware of why people behave the way they behave. When I raise to that level of awareness inside of me, I start immediately. It's almost unavoidable. You cannot unseen what you have seen inside you. So you start changing your lifestyle. You change your habits. You change your family. You change your internal systems. But then you go from me to we. And then you start looking at your company and your organization and your community, your group, your neighborhood, and you say, like, what? And you start seeing things. You start seeing power dynamics that are not right. And you start asking yourself, why I'm seeing this? What is my role in this? What can I do to change, to improve this, to make it for better? And that is at that level that we start getting, usually at that level, we start getting our clients, because it's the people that says like, I really want to do something good, but I want to have an impact, not just good result. And there is a big difference between impact and good result. Good result is what most of us are trying to get. We do something good, and then we get the immediate result. We get the gratefulness from the people that we help, and that's it. But everybody continues with their life, and everybody goes as business as usual. At that point, what we do is we help our clients to figure out the gap. It's like, what is the difference between when I think I want to do that is going to get a good result, and how can I translate that into something that is really going to have an impact? And an impact is something that goes way beyond you, that is bigger than you, that is bigger than the sum of the part. It's not my doing, it's not your doing, it's like everybody's doing, creating such a dent in the universe, such a change in the system, then the system itself cannot come back to what it was. And
Oh my gosh.
and it has to become something else. And then you work with a different system, and then you keep pushing. But that is what we want. We want systems, and by system, I talk about organizations, communities, society, state, industries, the whole country, the planet, whatever. Those are complex systems that adapt. It's like an elastic, like you push it with the good deeds, but then you stop and you don't continue that. And if that doesn't break the elastic will go back to where it was.
Right.
Eventually. Maybe a little loose, but it's gonna be the same elastic in some way. So changing and making an impact means that to transform, completely change the shape of the shape of the system. And the best way to do it is by changing the way the elements of the system, including humans, but also other elements, interact with each other. It changed the shape, it changed the form, and that's what we want. So I was learning that in my practice as a practitioner, as an activist. I was learning that, okay, so what we need to do, and I learned that with communication for social change, communication for development. I did my master and my PhD on that because I wanted to understand the theories behind the change that we all want to achieve. I was like, oh, so what matters is not really investing billions of dollars in development. We have seen what we call the cemetery of development, like billions of dollars invested in developing projects and developing countries that really did nothing substantial, nothing that can be sustained, at least. And we have seen one Twitter, we have seen one little action, we have seen the brave, the courageous action of a girl somewhere that creates a massive revolution, right? So it's not about, many people say like, well, I'm not a millionaire, and so what can I do? Or I'm not an expert, and I don't have a PhD. We have all those myths about what it means to be a social change agent. And I want to challenge all those beliefs and myths, because it's not true. What it takes is to know how to leverage the power that you have, the business that you have, to create the impact that you want to have, to really make a difference that will last after that action. So that's how I've been learning, first with all the theories about social change. Then I work on complexity science to understand how systems change. And then I got 3 certifications as a coach, because none of them were like enough to be able to create my own methodology and my own tools to guide, as a mindset coach, to guide business owners mostly and founders that really want to make an impact, to help them turn into history shapers. And that's where I am right now.
Oh my gosh, we could go in so many different directions. I am just thrilled with everything you said. I thought the explanation was so perfect. And there's several things that I want to talk about today. First, I'm just going to go to list, so honestly, to keep me organized in this. But I think you nailed it when you said you need to go from me to we. And so I want to talk about how important it is for you to be in alignment, especially our OBMs, with the founders who are in social impact. But before we go there, I feel like there are a lot of people either in the audience or that I've spoken to before that have all the head trash, that are just like, I can't, to your point before, I'm not a millionaire. How can I really be of change? I've been a lawyer for 18 years. Like, how can I really go and be a change agent or a history shaper or history maker? So can we talk about one of the terms that you came up with? And I want to make sure I say it right. Indomable?
Indomable.
Oh, nope, did not say it right. Indomable. and what that means, and really share that with our audience.
Okay, part of my, let's say, my journey to get here is understanding. I mean, my whole obsession is like how society and humans work, why we do what we do, and how we change it. It's been an understanding the gap, because there is a lot of theories about the gap that there is the knowledge, and then if you have the information, you're going to change your attitude, then you're going to change your behavior. But then we found that there is a gap between attitude and behavior, and we need to understand that. So Indomable really is, after studying very closely history shapers all over the world and in human history, I was looking for what do they have in common.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a few things besides an indomable mindset that they have. All of them have a very strong calling. I mean, I'm going to give you the most obvious examples, Gandhi, Mandela, Martin Luther King Jr. I mean, just to name a few. So all of them have a very strong calling. Many of them didn't start it with a lot of power and money, right? Mm-hmm. That's the first myth.
That's true.
Not all of them started being rich. Gandhi was rich and then became poor, and then get another kind of power that was even more powerful than the money his family has. So money is not a requirement. Knowledge is not a requirement, like an intellectual academic knowledge, let's say. But they do have a very strong calling, very clear vision of what they wanted and why they wanted, and why they were willing to do whatever it takes to get there. Strong calling. They all have an amazing, strong thought leadership brand, meaning that they had a very clear message, so strong and so clear that they could say over and over and over, and people start following them. People start seeing what they see, start sharing their vision, and that's how you start building a movement, not around you, because that will be very narcissistic, but around your vision and around your idea. You need a strong brand. That's something that in Massive we help people to build, because it's not easy for most of us. So they have a strong calling, they have a strong brand, they have a strategy, and that this strategy can change over time. As you build the movement will tell you where to go next. But at least you have an idea for where you go. Up to that, a lot of people think that's enough. What I have studied and what I have come to the conclusion is that if you don't have the right mindset to change the system, to challenge it, to get into that fight, the system will crush you. No matter how much power you have, no matter how much money you have, no matter how much experience you have as a business owner, and you can have many businesses and been very successful on that. Social change don't happen the same way that business change. It's different. So you have to be able to combine both things. But most importantly, with the mindset is that you have to be aware that if you fight a system, the system will fight back and will use all your limiting belief, all your fears, your strongest emotion, the emotions that take you out of your control, your ego. They're going to use that to crush you. So you have to develop a mindset that I call indomable, means is a word in Spanish that loosely translates as impossible to domesticate. And what I'm saying by domesticate is that all of us really, we have a domesticated mind, and domesticated by what I think are the main domesticated or colonized mind. The main colonizing systems right now are patriarchy, white supremacy, institutionalized religion, and consumerist capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
All of those belief systems working through us to keep the status quo, to keep things in place, to permit, to allow the system that there is to sustain itself. We do that job for the system. We keep doing it with the things that we believe, with our behavior and all that. So becoming Indomable is really a mindset shift process that I guide my clients through coaching, that start by decolonizing your mind, meaning that you become really aware of how social conditioning and systemic gaslighting have put you in that place where you are right now and keeping you there, and how it's using you and your brain to keep reproducing those beliefs and those systems that reinforce oppression, reinforce discrimination, reinforce separation and exclusion and lack of diversity and all that.
Yeah.
So the first thing is become aware of how you're being instrumental for that and how it's keeping you stuck. So that's the part of decolonizing your mind. And that also means that you develop, and that's the purpose, is to develop a very critical mind. And a critical mind is not the critical as in like seeing everything wrong, like, and saying like, oh, this is bad, this is bad. It's not the contrarian mind. It's the critical mind goes in different levels. The critical mind, having a critical mind, is start with understanding, first being a skeptic of what the news, what the social media, what other people say and do. And be skeptical about that, saying like, well, maybe they're not right. Nobody has the truth. Like everybody's right at the same time. How can be both things can be true at the same time? That kind of critical mind. But then there is a next level that few people go, that is the systemic critical mind, meaning that you start identifying the socializing and gaslighting tactics that the system use to keep things in place. And then there is the third level of the critical mind, that is when you start becoming healthy skeptical of your own mind. And what your mind tells you about who you are, what is true and not true, and what is possible or not possible, especially for you. And that's where most people get stuck, because we believe that, yeah, I want to make a change, but I will never be a Martin Luther King Jr., right? I mean, it's like not that. I just want to make a small contribution around my community. And that's actually is your ego saying like, let's play small. It's safer there. So part of the becoming Indomable mindset is to challenge everything. Everything, because it's only by challenging everything that you really can see what is really possible. How far can you get? And how to get there. And you start seeing options and opportunities and solutions that you haven't never seen before, just because you've removed the obstacles in your mind.
Sure.
And then the strategy, the branding strategy, I mean, all that, and how monetize your mission also, because that doesn't mean being a history shaker doesn't mean that you have to starve yourself or your family. You can really, we believe now that the future of business is social entrepreneurship, is social business. Now the market is the public opinion is the market now. And so the public opinion right now is being more and more demanding and paying more attention to CEOs and funders and entrepreneurs, saying like, where you stand on this topic. What are you doing with your actions, with your business to solve this problem? And the CEOs, and there are many studies that show that the CEOs that actually use their face are the CEOs that own their cause, and they present publicly and say, my business, my company is supporting this cause, and we're doing this, and this is how we're doing, and this is our the result that we get way more loyalty from their clients than any other one. So it's the best thing for marketing you can do is have a stand, and make clear your statement and your positioning around the social topics and the social issues that are in demand right now, that people are tired of seeing over and over and over, and say, like, who's going to do something about it? And I was telling you at the beginning that the advantage that entrepreneurs and business owners have is that they have economic autonomy, and we want to promote that. We want them to be free from the economic agenda that certain groups have, and they impose on people. And that includes the government and nonprofit organizations, because nonprofit organizations depends on donors, and donors have their political agenda, and they're conditioning the grants. And government are also tied up because they also have constituents, and they have lobbyists, and they have companies with money behind to negotiate the policies, the public policies, and the rights and the laws, negotiate them. So the government and the nonprofit sector, we both need those. We need both of them, but they're not really free to challenge the system. They work within the system.
Right. And so that's why y'all are really focusing on social impact for profit businesses, because they have the most freedom and can make the most change, because they don't have to fight in the system as much as the others, and they don't have as many external factors. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
I love this. I love this because
that's what is happening is the business owners are making the biggest systemic change in the past 10 years.
Sure.
For a reason.
Oh, wow. It's really, really fascinating. And I love this because all of the women who are watching this, who either are becoming online business managers and running their own business, and or are considering becoming online business managers, what I like about this is you can use your talents, your gifts, your systems mind, and your tech loving to really take your impact and put it exactly where you want to be. So Virginia, since you speak with so many different social impact businesses, like I said at the very beginning, we have a lot of OBMs who really deeply want to work for companies who are making a change. And you also work with them to scale, to grow. So do you have any advice for the OBMs who are listening on either how to find a social impact company who needs you, or what are some of the issues that social impact companies have from an operations standpoint, or working with a change maker or a one of the social impact CEOs? What advice could you give there? So it's kind of an open-ended question on what could you...
Well, let's say there are a lot of, especially startup entrepreneurs that are presenting. Being a startup entrepreneur is a beautiful phase of your business, because it's when nothing is there and you get to start from scratch and build it with everything. And this is the perfect time where you're building your business so you can insert your calling in it. It's like, instead, usually the dichotomy, because we live in a world that is part of the systems that we're being conditioned into. It's our culture to have a dichotomous thinking. So we say, like, well, I'm going to make money first, and then I'm going to use that money to help people.
Right.
The question is, it starts asking, stop asking the either or kind of question, and start asking the both and. It's like, how can I make a profitable business while I'm changing the world, while I'm helping with this, solving this problem? There is a need. I mean, what is business about? Is creating a solution for a need that already exists. Some businesses creating the need that doesn't exist so I can provide the solution. But let's say in most cases, there are enough needs. We have a lot of problems to solve of all kind of size, really. I mean, there is no small problem, because if affect human beings, then that's it. They're all big. But, global problems and local problems. And there are many, they're everywhere. It's about using your mind, your imagination, that power that your brain has for good use, and think, how can I solve a problem and make profit doing it? Because people don't care. People want to pay you if you're going to solve a problem. They want to contribute to you instead of another company that is not solving any problem, is creating even more. So they will, even if they don't need your product as much, they will still buy you your service or your product just because they want to support the cause. So as a OBM, you can BMO, you can either look for entrepreneurs that are already on social media, being the face, being, speaking about that cause, and say, like, I like this person, because that's the way we buyers are doing now. We look for the CEO, we look for how they talk in social media about any topic, and we decide if we like them or not, and then we look at the product. In most cases, when it matters. So you can look at for people that are doing something interesting and approach them and say, like, I want to help you run your business and be successful at both same things. Running a business, being profitable, and making that business a social change agent as well. Or you can start in another way. You can go to or find a CEO or a founder that has some level of consciousness, but maybe haven't get to the we part yet, where, that, let's say, that person has some level of consciousness, have some sensitivities. One would like to do something about it, but they don't know where to start. They don't know how. What you can be the person that says, I'm going to help you to start making a revolution within your business, and then we're going to think together how we take it out, how we make an impact outside the organization too.
Oh, Virginia. Yes, 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 yes. Y'all, I want to pause and talk about that right there. This has never even occurred to me until you just brought this up. We're constantly talking about, for our OBMs, niching down and figuring out, like, who is your ideal. What I heard, two great things of, hey, Mr. and Mrs. CEO, I'm going to help you, A, get profitable, B, also continue on this mission. But even cooler, that again, that I didn't think about before, is going into a business and saying, hey, I know you're also really mission oriented in this space. Let's tie it all together. And guess what? I'm the OBM who gets shit done, who makes stuff happen, to go piece all of this together and make it so, like, bring this dream to a reality. I love that. I never considered that. That is so, so, so huge. And I bet a lot of people aren't talking about that or aren't offering that. And so it's a huge,
Competitive
huge
advantage.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I love
It's
it.
like, I'm going to help you run your business like nobody else will, but also let's talk about your dreams as a CEO. Let's talk about your causes, the things that matters to you, where it hurts for you, and how I'm going to help you to figure out how we can use that business and all the profits we're going to make together to also solve that problem, to also address the cause that is hurting your heart right now. Who will say no to that?
Exactly. Like, when you said that, it was such a light bulb for me. Who is going to say no to that?
Cabrones. I mean, some assholes will say no to that, but you don't want to work for them anyway. So
exactly. It's a great filter, right?
Exactly.
No assholes allowed. I love it. Oh, it's so good. So, Virginia, you have been a leader, a CEO for such a long time. Have you ever had a partner, colleague, etc., who filled this online business manager like role? Really, your right hand woman, your Jill of all trades. Like, and how did she help you, or he help you, or what was her or his impact?
Well, when I think that the time that I was not a solopreneur, and so I was not doing everything by myself, and I have changed careers. I mean, always within the social change field, but every time looking like, where can I make more impact? Where can I make more impact? And moving forward that way. But I remember when I was very young, I mean, I was working for this organization that did the communication for social change strategy that was massive. I mean, we were working in all Central America, not just locally, but regionally. And I had to come up. I was named executive director because I was co-creator of this television show that was a combination between sitcom, let's say Friends, the
Yeah.
series,
Yeah.
and telenovela, right? Latin American telenovela, but with social change content, with social issues, domestic violence, poverty, pregnancy, all that, you name it. So I was in law school at that time. I know
Oh, wow.
nothing about television production. We were working for a nonprofit organization, and I was in charge of being the executive director, meaning that I'm the executive producer, meaning the boss of the boss, taking all the decision, and also the director of the show. And I had no idea what I was doing. Seriously, people said that I've been brave in my life for all the things that crazy things that I have done. I will say like maybe not brave, but definitely naive. I didn't know what I was doing. And at that time, my number one priority is like, okay, I'm going to make this up from scratch. I have no idea how we're going to make it up. And so I need someone that knows better about at least how to operate this. So my main focus was I have to train the actors, the script writers, the technicians, build the studio, everything. But I said I'm gonna hire the best producer that there is out there, and I did the search. And the reason I hired someone that is called Luz Marina, and she became my lifesaver, to be honest, for many reasons. First, she knew how to be a producer. And the producer for me, since I didn't know much about television at that time, when I was looking for the criteria for selecting the person, because I had all kind of curriculums, you know, the paper can hold anything. But then I was interviewing them and I was like, I'm looking for two things. I'm looking for a match in values and vision and perspectives. I mean, it has to be someone that believes in the same things that I believe, that is a feminist, that is against all kind of discrimination, that is inclusive, that is understand the people that we're working with. I mean, we have to match in values. She has to know her business, but mostly she has to be resourceful, because I knew that it's not about how much you know, it's about how fast are you learning or figuring things out. And I remember that I asked her, because we were doing a television show that is a fiction series, right? So I was like, my question for each one of the interviewed was, okay, if I need for the next episode, I need an elephant that is painting pink with, yellow dot. How would you get it? And most of the people that I interviewed, like top, seriously, they were like big deal, like I work for this and this and blah blah blah, and this is my CV. I was like, how would you do that? And many say like, well, there is no circus around here, so it's going to be difficult. And how about I will negotiate with you a horse instead? Like I get all kind of responses. And with Luz Marina, I asked the same question, and she said like, when you need it, like that, by when you need it, where you want it, and that's it. I'll take care of it. And obviously, she will not know where to start. But she said, that's on me. I'll make it real. I make it happen. And I was like, that's it. That's all I need. And so I brought her in, and we were figuring things out together. And this is the beauty, is like when my producer was not my employee. She was my partner in crime. I mean, everything. And that's the way you have to treat your BMO, really. I mean, that's the way you have to treat your second hand, your right hand, as your partner. And this is the person that's going to make your dreams reality. She has to see the dream even clearer than you do. She has to understand that dream better than you do. That vision. You have to be able to take it out of your head and just put it on somewhere, so she can say like, done. I know what exactly need to do, or I figured it out, but we're going to get this done. So everything that has to do with managing people, and I have so many divas. I mean, of course, it's television, it's that industry. So everything that has to deal with divas, I saved me a lot of stress from that. I was already investing a lot of my mental energy in just building that up. And so I could be the visionary, I could be the executive producer, I could deal with the donors, the most important relationship, like fundraising and directing and making decisions, because once I made a decision, I stopped thinking about it. She was in charge of making it happen, to execute it and make sure that everybody was on the same page. And I stopped thinking about it. The amount of time and energy she saved me, I will not be able to do all the things that I did if I had to invest that level of mental energy and emotional energy on the task that she took off my shoulder.
Oh my gosh, it's so, so true. And I want everyone who is listening to just stop and pause and listen to the gratitude and the excitement that Virginia just spoke in her voice about getting to do what her zone of genius was, which was being that visionary, working with the donors, making, really creating that vision. And we talk a lot in everything that Prowess Project does of how there's the visionary and the integrator, the big dreamer and the person who's getting it done. And you just, instead of telling us what that's like, you just showed us what that's like. And so I want everyone in the audience, that's what you're looking for. Someone who is going to be that grateful for you, because that's what you deserve, because what you are doing is invaluable. So I wanted to pause and really point that out.
And for CEOs, I mean, if you find that person, that's your family. I mean, hold to it with all that. That's why I said it has to be your partner. You have to treat her as your partner, because she is going to be, and I'm saying she's going to be, you guys can include yourself in the statement. She's going to make your dreams come true. And she's going to help you to do, as you said, to do what you do best. And she's going to take care of everything. It's like, I have never been more grateful to anyone supporting me than I was with her. And I will hire, I mean, we're not a big company yet. I mean, we're working with big clients, but we're not a big company yet, because we're starting, so we're not having too many clients now. But that is our first next step, for sure.
Is hiring her, because bringing her in, because she is your forever person now. Oh, I just love
not her, because she's in Nicaragua, but to hire
someone like her,
manager. Yes.
Okay. I thought you meant her, but no, you just mean someone. Got it.
I mean, she's in television and she's a producer, but someone that gives me that is really, I'm counting the days to do that. It's the best thing we can do for your business.
It's, oh my gosh, so incredibly true. We see it time again with the numbers, the ease, relief, and freedom that it really gives the CEOs. So I cannot believe we have 2 minutes left, because this was supposed to be 45 minutes. I could talk to you for hours and hours and hours and hours. But do you have any final thoughts to leave this group of mostly women who are here, who are either starting their OBM business or thinking about starting it or well on their journey? Do you have any final thoughts for them about what's next?
Yeah, especially for those that, two things maybe, for those that are really interested in making a difference and helping business owners to really make an impact. I will say two things. First is work on your mindset first. I mean, do this process yourself. We work with mostly CEOs and founders, but I mean, if you want to work with us, we're happy to have a conversation with you or find someone. But get coach, that's for sure. Get a mindset coach that will help you to overcome and to, just to challenge your own limiting belief, because you cannot help anyone, meaning the person that is hiring you, to get farther than where you have been. You have to know what it takes, and you have to go there yourself first. So that's one advice that I cannot repeat enough. Get coach, get a mindset coach, overcome your own limited beliefs so you can help somebody else to dream bigger. And we always dream way smaller than we're capable of. So beat that. And the second is, if you're not an immigrant, or BIPOC, if you're not a person of color, if you're not an immigrant, if you're not a person that is not heterosexual, if you're not part of that minority, make everything you can to be familiar with that. Travel to another country if you can, spend some time far away, spend time, get to know the communities, because if you want to make an impact, you have to somehow not represent those groups, because nobody can represent anybody anyways. That's what I believe. But you have to be able to understand the complexities of the reality of your customers and your clients and your people and the people that will follow your cause. You have to speak their language. So you cannot do it in theory. You cannot just like, I'm just going to be a good person. And you want to make an impact, you have to be very familiar. You have to study, you have to be very familiar, you have to talk to, and you have to get involved in the debate of the problems that you care, at least the ones that you care about. But be very familiar with that, because that's the best way you're gonna help your partner, in this case, I mean, your whoever hires you, but your partner, to achieve a real impact and not just keep doing good things.
Yes, 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 yes. To underscore, just because you are the tech person, the systems person, the ops person, you need to know that customer inside and out. It is so incredibly important because, again, you're the one who's making the change. You're the one who's building. You're the one who is building their solution.
So
So,
never
yes, that is
underestimate the influence you can have on the CEO. Huge influence. You can change that person. You can help them get in the direction. You can encourage them. If somebody says, like, I want to make a change, but I don't know where to start, you say, well, at least you're not alone. We're doing this together, and I know enough. I will guide you through the first steps at least. That could just that. Listen to that from you can change anybody's mind about what is possible.
Oh my gosh, Virginia, thank you, thank you, thank you. Where can everyone find you to learn more? I'll put your website in the chat. But this has just been awesome. Where can people find you?
Yeah, well, our website, massivechange.co without the M. That's one way, and we have the description of everything we do that. And if you want to connect directly with me, just look for me on LinkedIn. It's
Perfect.
Virginia Lacayo. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm happy to
fantastic.
connect with any of you and keep this conversation going.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming on our show today. It has just blown me away. It made me think about so many different things and really helping bring the dreams to lives of the OBMs who are coming to us, who want to work in social impact, and then in turn, helping other CEOs make even more of a massive change, oftentimes in social impact. So again, this has just been exceeded my expectations in every way. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And everyone else, we will see you here next week. Don't forget that we now have these recordings on our podcast too, so you can check us out on any place that you get a podcast, or you can hop on our YouTube and watch these all on demand. So thank you, thank you, thank you, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.